Yo, fancy community, welcome to Proper Things, the FPL show brought to you by the TT FPL Pro-League. And the story of Gameweek 5 was low. How low can you go? Or get low by Lil Jon and the Eastside Boys. As your boy put up a paltry 33 points and 40 points almost guaranteed a green arrow for any owner out there, as it was tough sledding in the points department. So if you got that green arrow, congratulations to you. Here on Proper Things, we always give you all a recap or the review, a preview of the upcoming game weeks. These Proper Things segment where we give you all the nice picks and an update on the table. So without further ado, let's get into things with the review of Game Week 5. We kick things off this week with Liverpool defeating the Wolves 3-1 with Mo Salah wheeling and dealing to the tune of 2 assists. Unlucky not to get a third as was chalked off their own goal. Aston Villa also defeated Palace to the same scoreline. They have been making a nice late run to secure the 3-1 win. Fulham defeated Luton 1-0. Nice defensive showing with Luton yet to get off the mark. To no one's surprise, the Seagulls rolled United at Old Trafford. Pressure mounting on Ten Hag. Big game against Bayern midweek, and this weekend versus Burnley has all the makings for a cracker. Richarlison showed up late and stole the points for Tottenham at home versus the Blades of Sheffield 2-1 and goal and assist in stoppage time to secure the result. City came back from behind to defeat West Ham 3-1 with James Ward-Prowse scoring the first goal before Alvarez, Haaland and co took charge to secure the W. Newcastle narrowly beat the Honeybees of Brentford 1-0. Callum Wilson with the goal there. Chelsea and Bournemouth played a 0-0 draw. A lot of pressure still heaping now on Chelsea as Pochettino starts to feel the heat. Arsenal defeated Everton 1-0 with a nicely taken goal from Trossard to put the pressure back on City and join the race with Liverpool for the race to the title. And finally on Monday, Naomi and Kokadoni muster 1-1 draw with Burnley as Company and the boys played out a nice game. So that was the recap of the scorelines for Game Week 5. Now we move on to the preview of the games or the goat mouth segment for the upcoming game week. This week we have no early games on the Sunday morning, so us Trinidadians could sleep in a little bit as the first game will be at 10 on Saturday. The first set of games will be on 10 on Saturday. We have Crystal Palace versus Fulham. I think this one will finish 1-1. I believe Wolves will roll Luton 2-0. Luton will still be searching for that first win or first point of the season. I believe my boy City will roll Nottingham Forest 4-1. Brentford should get past the Toffees of Everton 2-0. I believe the flat track bullies that are Manchester United will release some pressure on Ten Hag and beat Burnley to the tune of a 3-0 victory. I think Arsenal and Tottenham will share the spoils this season with both teams winning at home. So I have Arsenal winning this one 3-1. I have Brighton continuing their hot form where they will roll the Cherries of Bournemouth 3-1. I have Chelsea going down to Aston Villa 2-0 at home. I also have Liverpool continuing the pressure at the top of the table with a 3-1 win versus West Ham. And I have Newcastle narrowly beating Sheffield 1-0. So those are my goat mouth predictions for this game week 6. And feel free to add a little comment down in the comment section and if you all think that are being biased or hating on a specific team. So we look forward to the games this week and see how things shake out. Up next, we move on to the most hotly contested segment on the show, the Proper Things segment, where we give you all the picks on what you should have, what you should be aiming to bring in this game week, what you should be getting rid of, and the things you should be keeping your eye on. So now we move on to the Proper Things segment. So to kick things off with the Proper Things segment, we obviously start with the Proper Things picks. These are the picks that should be in your team Now and going forward, these are the centerpieces of your fantasy team. Last week's proper things defender pick was Saliba from Arsenal, and he reaffirmed my suspicions of Arsenal keeping a clean sheet as they defeated Everton 1-0, and Saliba returned a nice 6 points for his owners in a week that I know everyone needed those points. This week's proper things defender pick is ding 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 Fabian Schär from Newcastle, coming in at 5 million. And for those who have Botman, I also like Botman at 4.5, but I would lean in the direction of Fabian Schär if the funds are available, because I believe he's more of an attacking threat on set pieces and could get the attacking return, as well as being part of the highly wanted Newcastle defense right now. So Fabian Schär, the proper things defender pick for game week 6. Last week in midfield, we had everyone's fantasy darling, it looked like, of game week 5 in Heung-min Son. Unfortunately, that bus crashed and burned with no survivors, similar to the Raheem Sterling of the previous week, as he only returned 2 points for owners. But this week, we have a surefire pick in the second most expensive player in the game in Mo Salah, coming in at 12.5 from Liverpool. I believe it's time to bring Salah into your fantasy teams, as the Liverpool schedule is taking, as we call, a green for go, and Mo Salah has now returned in every game this season and has a record of double plus games in a row of returning at least one return for his owners. So I think it's Mo Salah season, and the FPL King goes back to his throne. So Mo Salah is your proper things midfielder pick for game week 6. And finally, the proper things striking or forward department has a little shake up this week. The customary or the compulsory pick of Haaland for the first 5 weeks returned 6 points last week with a goal to crown the 3-1 win versus West Ham. But this week, since the ownership now is 92% and ongoing, you must have Haaland, but the proper things forward pick is his strike partner in Julian Alvarez, or the Spider for the Man City fans, coming in at 6.9 million currently, and he is bound to rise again. Julian Alvarez has been one of the hottest players in world football currently. He has 8 returns already in the first 5 game weeks, with another 2 assists last game week and 2 goals in Europe on Tuesday. So I believe Julian Alvarez, it's time now to take a big jump from the roulette and put him in the center fold now and being a mandatory piece going forward. So game week 6 forward, proper things pick is the one, the only Julian Alvarez. Now we move on to the needle mover picks of game week 6. And while we didn't have a great week last week in game week 5, as we were 1-3 in the most highly contested segment, I know people look forward to this to take their shots, as this segment is dedicated to the aggressive players, the players who decide they want to take shots at their league mates and try to rise rank quickly and aggressively. Sorry that I failed you guys last week. You know that I enjoy making picks for the aggressive players, but promise to turn things around this week. So last week our needle mover defender pick was Udogie. Unfortunately, Udogie didn't return anything attackingly, and Sheffield scored the first goal in their 2-1 defeat to Spurs. But Udogie looked lively but didn't return for owners. This week, however, I have one off the cuff in Kilman of Wolves. I believe Kilman has a great opportunity to return a clean sheet versus Luton, as Luton seems to be the whipping boys of the Premier League this season. Not only that, but I don't know, I have that little tingling that Kilman might return something in the attacking half for Wolves. So Max Kilman, my needle mover pick for game week 6. in the defending department. Last week also in the midfielder, needle mover department, we had Odegaard. Odegaard had two massive chances to score for the Gunners, but he failed to convert them and only returned 3 points. Now this week I have two players that are moderately owned to about 40 to 45 to 50% in the leagues. And one of my favorite players, although he plays for the rivals, in Marcus Feed the Kids, Rachel or Marcus Rashford, and Hero Matoma, both coming in when Rashford coming in at 8.9 and Matoma 6.5. I believe Manchester United are the new flat track bullies of the Premier League, and I think they will roll Burnley, and as in my predictions before, win the game 3-0 with Rashford playing as a central role, an integral role. So if you don't have Rashford, I believe this is an ideal week to bring him in. So I think he could return heavily, as well as Matoma, although they play midweek football Thursday in the Conference League. I believe Matoma could return heavily for his owners. But for those who already have those two and saying, "We boy, your boy didn't have no picks for y'all," or they might hear his name earlier. If you want to be 1 week early, you know it's better to be 1 week early than 1 week late. If you're in for a penny, in for a pound. A special needle mover pick this week is Pedro Neto, who has been catching my eye so far this season and has 3 assists to his name. He also provided an assist versus Liverpool, but Cunha couldn't even head the ball past anyone as he missed the header, as it could have been a greater return. So if you already have Matoma and Rashford, Neto is a pick you should keep your eyes on. But this week, for those who don't have Rashford, I think this is the week to have Marcus, Feed the Kids, Rachel. Or if you don't have Matoma, this is a week to have Matoma. So now we move on to the needle mover forward pick. And last week we had Anaomi, one of the hottest players again in the Premier League. He returned an assist versus Burnley. Unfortunate not to get a goal as well, but in a week where scoring was low, we thank God for small mercies as he returned 5 points. And this week's needle mover pick, well, we know Alvarez is the hottest commodity right now, but I think this guy has a chance to smash it and finally get his first goal for his new club in the one, the only Hoyland, or the Wish Haaland as they call him. And like stated before, I believe Manchester United will come out there and roll Burnley. They're the new flat track bullies to me and release some pressure on Ten Hag. I also believe Hoyland is one who is lowly owned right now, but after this week, he may be the next Sterling or Son, and I think this is the week to jump on that train and get your points. So Hoyland is your forward needle mover pick for game week 6. Now we move on to the Spilt Milk segment. This is the segment where we highlight players that may have passed their sell date and may be getting a little funky. So let's see what I have here for you all this week. And last week we swung and missed again. It was just a poor week all around. Sorry again. As I said, I didn't believe Trippier was worth his price at 6.5. So he returned 8 points and proved me wrong. So for all the guys who were telling me Trippier was a good pick, you guys won that argument. And this week we have a special pick here because a lot of people have been playing a little game of cat and mouse or chinksing on the funds to play Matt Turner in goal. I believe it's time to stop playing the Matt Turner football in goal and just not play him in goal as he's the Spilt Milk defender pick. I know he's a goalkeeper, but I think I had to mention this because a lot of people have been playing the Matt Turner football, as they say, or the Matt Turner brand. So all those who doing that, it's not working and it's time to move on. So the Spilt Milk defender pick this week is Matt Turner. Last week in midfield, as your Spilt Milk pick, we had Richarlison. And whoever the Spurs therapist is, that guy is or woman is in line for a raise, as they seem to work miracles with Richarlison on a short game week as he returned from South America, from Brazil national duties, and came off the bench and scored and assisted to get Spurs the 2-1 win. Did not get in any bonuses as he got his yellow card, his customary yellow card for every time he celebrates, but Spurs won the game and Richarlison won the spilt milk discussion as he returned 8 points. This week, while I do believe if you have this guy in your team, you may have to stick it out, I think it's time to move on from Eze of Crystal Palace as there are better options in midfield. Eze, I've given him 5 game weeks thus far to turn things around, and Crystal Palace seem to be in a slump and it's been tough sledding for them. He is on set pieces down there and I do love penalty takers, but I have soured on Crystal Palace on the whole as Edwards seems to be the main man down there. You know, Edwards doing massive things right now. So Eze is on the out for me and is your spilled milk midfielder pick for game week 6. And finally, last week we finally hit a home run with recommending Martial as a spilled milk forward. He returned 1 point and seems to be the plan B to Ten Hag, but you never know with Ten Hag these days. And this week, I think the fantasy community could come together in accepting Jackson or Nico Jackson from Chelsea as he spilled milk forward, as I could hear the cheers in the background now as fantasy managers have just become frustrated with the Chelsea hitman, as every game seems to be a 1 point return. 1 point return as he gets his customary yellow card and is close to a suspension playing that Diego Costa attitude football but not returning like Diego Costa. So if you have Nico Jackson, it's time to sell. If you don't have Julian Alvarez or you don't have Højlund or you want to take a punt on someone else, I would recommend that as Nico Jackson is your spilled milk forward pick for game week 6. And finally, we have the wondering picks for game week 6. These are the players you should keep an eye on. Not necessarily players you want to bring in this week, but players you might need to scout 1 week further just to get some more information in order to bring them into your team. And last week's wondering defenders pick was John Stones, as I thought John Stones might return after the international break. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait a lot longer to see one of my prime players in Johnny back, as Pep Guardiola gave news that it will take a little more time for John Stones' return, so maybe after the next international break now. So John Stones did not play, returned goose egg, so no new information there. And since we did a keeper in spilled milk, I think it was only fair we did a keeper for wondering picks, as your wondering defender pick for this week is Raya. Got his first start for Arsenal this game week. Didn't really have much to do versus Everton. So he just returned the 6 points, but he looked well when playing the ball out of the back. We yet to be tested to see his glove work, but it will be interesting to see who starts versus PSV midweek in the Champions League, and if Raya gets the game this upcoming game week in the North London Derby, a baptism by fire. So he should be tested here. So Raya is your wondering defender pick for game week 6. We had Diaz of Liverpool as your wondering midfielders pick for last week. Like I said, he would return from international break and might not get the start, as I believe it would be Gakpo, Salah, and Jota starting. I was right on that, and those 3 started, but Diaz came off the bench for the second half and he looked lively. Didn't get any returns, but Liverpool did win the game 3-1. Liverpool also play midweek in the Europa League, so it will be interesting to see who Klopp feels there. But if Diaz doesn't start that game, he should be in line to start weekend. So hopefully better news on Diaz. And this week's wondering pick, I know I mentioned him earlier in the needle movers for those who had Rashford and Matoma, but I personally would like 1 more week on Neto versus Luton. So for those who don't have Rashford or Matoma and bringing those in, keep your eye on Neto as they do play Luton this week, and I think he could be in for a big week, but I would like just this last game week to scout exactly what we have in Pedro Neto. So you're wondering, midfielder's pick for this week is Pedro Neto. Last week's wondering pick was Højlund at the forward position, and I saw enough from Højlund to put him into my needle movers forward pick for this week. And this week's forward wondering pick, well, we have two guys in Wilson, Isaac, as I am not sure who will get the snaps in the Premier League or the start in the Premier League this game week versus Sheffield, as it was Wilson getting the start last week and scoring, and they play Milan midweek, and then they have the game this week. So maybe we get a little insight into who Eddie Howe would like to start at the forward position, but that striker who gets the start will definitely be on my radar in following weeks when Newcastle continue to play in Europe. So the Callum Wilson, Isaac stack or the Newcastle forward is my wondering pick for game week 6. So I hope you all enjoyed the proper things segment this week. I know we didn't have a great week last week, but I promise I'll bounce back week this week. I'll return to form like what we had in game week 3 and game week 4. And don't forget to leave a like on the video, to comment. You know I love to hear the comments. You know, whether it be you all saying I have the picks right or I don't have the picks correct, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the support. Now we move on to the segment that has the most banter, as your boy got into a heated back and forth with some of the members in the group chat as tensions were running high, as points were hard to come by and a lot of back and forth was going. So this is the segment where we give you all an update on how the standings look in the TT FPL Pro-League. It's the race for the 10K. This week we could clearly see the doctor is still in the house, as leading the way now by himself is Dr. Phil Foden by Kapil Ramcharan, who made an impressive 47 points this game week and now stands atop the TT FPL Pro-League with 331 points. If you take a quick look at what the doc is running, or the brand he playing right now, it's the 352, led by the City duo at the top with Haaland and Alvarez. He has the king of FPL in Mo Salah, Eze, Mbueno, Saka, Fernandez, and a nice little shot there with Kobori, Taken, and Turner, but they missed, unfortunately for him, Chilwell and Udogie, with Estupinian ready to come back into the team. So again, a nice 47 points by Kapil this week, as the doctor remains at the top of the table. It's the first man to actually be at the top of the table for 2 weeks running. So congrats to Dr. Phil Foden and Kapil Ramcharan. Next up, we have Brandon Will, with Brandon rising in the ranks with another impressive 55 points. Way all these points coming from these fellas this week. I'll just take a quick skim. Also a Salah owner, the City boys up top, and a nasty 10 points from Sanchez in goal. So well played by Brandon. And Brandon will rises to second, just 1 point off the Doc with 330 points. We have Joshua and White Rice Party also climbing with 52 points, 329 total. A-Wick 12 with Andre Roberts in 4th. Bamboo United, Trentpool FC, former joint leader Pelican Bay dropping to 7th. Untouchables FC at 8th, tied with FPL Marco, and Strand FC by Judea Simmons rounding out the top 10. So with 868 FPL. So those are the guys rounding out the top 10 right now. So great job by those guys doing their thing this game week. We look forward to see how the table looks at the end of game week 6. But again, kudos to you all, and what an excited time to be in the top 10 after a really mundane for most owners, including your boy, in game week 5. So let's just skim the table, and you see that Legacy 10X, which is my team, dropped out of the top 10 to 14th this week with 33 points. Take a quick look at my team as well. We had Onana in goal. You know, Man City just can't get that clean sheet. So Ruben with 2, Doji, Chilwell. It was just bleak at the back this game week. Rashford, Mbueno, Son and Foden all blanking, with Saka the only one to return in midfield. Haaland with 12 as my captain, and Nico Jackson again failing to do anything. And this week my thinking is, as I said, to call time on Nico Jackson's career at Legacy 10x, as it has not been a great campaign for him in my team, as it's just pain after pain. So we're definitely looking to bring in a new striker. Haaland is definitely a priority, with Julian Alvarez also on the radar, but Julian Alvarez will require hitters. I already have 3 Manchester City players, and there's no chance I sell Haaland this game week. So definitely looking for a striker this game week and calling time on Nico Jackson's time at my club. Very happy with already making the move for my boy Rachel last week. So we have that already covered. We have Game of Stones also tied at 315. We skim down the table a little bit. A name coming out to me, Elway at 32 with 299 points. I see my boy Gaza Chubbs this week. Ezra Ramney climbing the table aggressively, putting on an impressive 56 points this game week. 296 total. I just take a quick look at his team here to see where the points coming in. He had the City duo up top, Nico Jackson, Mbueno, Odegaard, Saka, Madison in midfield, Udoji, Trippier, and Gusto in the back, and when Leno returning 6 points. So well done, Ezra. And we just go to the bottom here now to see what's going on at the back end of the table. And we have Sion Paddy and Paddy FC with 36 points. He scored more than me this week, so can't really say nothing there. Young Toes, Carrot, More Sauce, and Universe Boss, Shampoo having a bad week as well with Wellington FC. So just seeing what's going on at the bottom end of the table. Hope you guys turn things around this upcoming game week, and we'll be rooting for you guys. Yeah, I'll be rooting for you guys. So all the best to everyone this upcoming game week. And thank you for all your support again. So hoping that we have a better game week 6 as it is. And finally, this week I wanted to end the episode with the hot takes question, as one of my close friends asked me if, while playing FPL, because this is his first season, if scoreboard pressure, is it a real thing, and how to react, as he's not been doing too well this season, and seeing other people with a lot of points already on the board and feeling a little nervous, as he again is new to the FPL circuit and doesn't want to be the brunt of everyone's jokes, but he's feeling the pressure. So he asked me if it's a real thing, and I could tell you from experience that scoreboard pressure, as he put it, is a real thing. No matter if you're experienced or a greenhorn, when you see others putting points on the table, there's always a feeling inside to have a little knee-jerk and to react to it and make quick decisions as you feel the game is slipping away. It's just human nature, FPL nature. But I like to take a saying from a cricketer, Indian great, not one of my favorite players, but I'll always remember what he said. You always have to bring the game deep, or take the game deep. As we all know, that is what Mahendra Singh Dhoni says when he's chasing a target for India. You always have to make sure the game is alive in the last couple overs, because if you let it slip by, then the game is already lost. So although there's scoreboard pressure, it's important to remember that this is a 38 game week experience. We are now going into game week 6, and although the first 5 may not have gone your way, you still have 33 more to turn things around. You don't want to be too far behind, but a little pressure might be good. As they say, pressure makes diamonds. So you soak in the pressure, and then you find a way to catapult your way back up to the table, as we've seen Ezra making around these last 2 game weeks. So for those who feeling the scoreboard pressure, you just have to soak it up sometimes and pick your moments and make some nice picks. Don't need to have a quick knee jerk, take some hits to try to get back in at once. You know, progression is not overnight thing. So for those who are not doing too well, wish you all the best as well. show you all watching the show if you're in this segment, and better things ahead or proper things ahead. So this brings us to the end of the episode this game week. And boy, I'm really hoping that this upcoming game week is my week. Feeling a little pressure, or squad pressure as the question just said, but I'm sure we'll make it out. So again, I want to thank everyone for subscribing to the channel, giving us a view, liking the video, and leaving a comment. Don't forget to do that again this week. We really appreciate all the support, and we can't wait to see what this game week has in store for us, as it's the first game week coming off the European games. So for everyone watching the Champions League or the Thursday night football, now we have European Conference. Good luck to all the teams out there, and everyone stay safe, and don't forget to do proper things in all walks of life. Thanks.